In today's lesson, you're going to be introduced to your first circle theorem. Specifically, we're going to be talking about chords and the perpendicular bisectors. As it said on your Show My Homework post, you will need your worksheet to be nearby, whether that's actually printed, or if you didn't want to print it, then you could also just have it on your browser nearby, but we are going to be working through it as we go through this video. The first key point of the lesson is that if you have a straight line connecting 2 points on the edge of the circle, also known as the circumference, that straight line is called a chord. Our first circle theorem is that if we have a perpendicular line drawn from the center of our circle to the actual chord, that it will bisect the chord. Remember, bisect just means cut into 2 equal parts. Another way of thinking of this circle theorem is that if you have a line drawn from the midpoint of your chord to the center of the circle, it will always form right angles. Example 1 tells us that we've got a circle with a center named O. M is a point on a chord named AB, and the length of AB. The first thing you need to do is to actually draw the diagram. You're given a description of everything, but drawing it will actually bring it together. So you should have that M is the midpoint of AB. So that means that to find the length of AM, it's just going to be half of it. Because AB is 26 centimeters, that means that AM will just be 26 divided by 2, or AM is 13. And then it does tell us to state the circle theorem, so we also need to write that the perpendicular line from the center that we circle will bisect the chord. I'd like you to go ahead and pause the video and complete your first try it problem. Example 2 has the same description. The only thing that changes is that OM is 8 centimeters. They give that information now. And we want to work out the length of the radius. So if we actually draw in that radius, we'll see that it's forming a triangle. And that we can label the triangle where OM is 8 and then AM is 13. By using this triangle, hopefully you can see that we are going to use Pythagoras' theorem. So remember, that's just going to be 8 squared plus 13 squared is equal to that radius squared. Once you simplify that down and solve for the AO, we get 15.3 to 1 decimal place. Pause the video and complete the second try problem now. In example 3, we're told that we've got a circle with a radius of 5 centimeters and we've got a chord that is 7 centimeters. We're looking to figure out how far is the midpoint of the chord from the center of the circle. Again, we need to actually draw this. You should remember that that will form a right angle between the center and the chord. Now we can look at the triangle formed between our lines in the circle and see that we'll have a radius of 5, that's our hypotenuse now. Then we actually have 3.5 for one of our sides because we only have half of the chord, and we're looking for the third one. So we're going to use Pythagoras' theorem again. To do this, we're going to have 3.5 squared plus our unknown squared, which is equal to 5 squared. Then once you simplify that, and we'll have to actually rearrange to solve for that unknown value, you should get about 3.6 to 1 decimal place. Go ahead and pause the video to complete that last try it problem. Then do make sure you actually come back to the video because I do have a little bit more to share with you before you finish your worksheet. Here are a few things that you must remember. So you need to know the definition of a chord. You also need to know the theorem and you need to be able to think of how to use it. You need to know to draw your diagrams if you aren't given any, if you're just given that description. And lastly, if you are asked to state the theorem, state your theorem you use. That's all for this video. If you do have any questions still, then post a comment on Show My Homework, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks!